often associated with the platform series, thought leaders had so much to say on this year's edition to mark Nigeria's Democracy Day. On the dashboard of issues to be discussed is the linkage between democracy and the free market economy. From the two-time governor and minister, Mr. Babatunde Fashola.
What economy are we even talking about in the Nigerian sense? So I go to the idea that our economy is predominantly small businesses, MSMEs. There's a data that shows that there are about 40 million of them. There's a national policy document that shows that they employ about 59.6 million people at 2017 and account for 49%, almost 50% of Nigeria's GDP. That document, that data clearly shows that that is where the critical mass is.
To the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara.
For progress to be made, we must creatively create a reward system that works only for citizens who are bakers, not those that are hunters. By that I mean those rent seekers, masquerading as businessmen and women who now promiscuously litter economic space. If Nigeria keeps holding on to what is normal, it will keep letting go of what is possible. We must never lose sight of the fact that scientists built the Titanic while amateurs built the Ark. But the Titanic couldn't survive a collision with an iceberg, while the Ark defied the global floods. The fight to rebuild our faltering economy is our collective fight.
To the current Anambra State Governor, Professor Soludo, all highlighted examples of Nigeria's political landscape and how it impacts the country's economic prosperity.
Literally every sector requires a declaration of an emergency. We need working groups on security, on economy, oil and gas and natural resources, food security, etc. But there are two others I will just, make a few statements about here that will shape the future. Number one of them is the devolution and building the foundations of a competitive and workable federation. And the second is a social contract with citizens to give everyone a stake in the future of Nigeria.
At the end of the session, participants called on immediate and collective actions that will help drive Nigeria's free market economy.
From the platform, this time Catholic Bishop of Soludo Diocese Matthew Kukah, in his submission, appealed to lawmakers to correct some of the anomalies in the Constitution, especially as it concerns the cost of governance and frivolous spending.
We must come back to the whole question of the National Assembly. How do we explain? We may not be in a dictatorship, but there has to be some legislation against certain levels of malfeasance that are not acceptable by any standards at all. The humongous amounts of, I remember our senator in Kaduna, Senator Sheikh Usani, he said, okay, every month they are giving us 25 million. I have to take. Okay, I have to take because it's already there. To change any of this, you have to go back to the National Assembly. But what you're saying, former Speaker, can it not be, does it need legislation to say that nobody should, because they can't, all these Land Cruisers, where they are produced, they are not buying them as much as, I think these people must be wondering what kind of human beings are in Nigeria. Isn't it possible to legislate what you are saying? Even if innocent motors cannot produce this number of motors, isn't it possible for Nigeria to decide that we are going to realign our pattern of consumption?